You know what's worse than wildfires? It's when those wildfires pollute our rivers for 8 years. Yeah, really. A new study says that wildfires leave rivers polluted for up to 8 years after the fire with toxic chemicals that can harm aquatic life. And it's worse if it rains or snows after the fire. In the study published in Nature's Scientific Reports, researchers from the University of New Hampshire and the U.S. Geological Survey looked at 2 locations in the Hubbard Brook Experimental Forest in New Hampshire, one where a wildfire had burned through in 2011 and another that had burned in 2019, which can reduce dissolved oxygen levels and increase the amount of algae in aquatic plants, which then die and decompose. This process uses up even more oxygen and can lead to massive die-offs of fish and other aquatic life. That means that even if the water doesn't immediately turn into a toxic wasteland, the long-term effects of wildfire pollution can be just as harmful. They also suggest that more research is needed to determine the effects of wildfire pollution on human health, since many of the chemicals involved are also found in drinking water. And if you live near a forest, maybe it's time to start thinking about what you'll do when the inevitable wildfire comes to town. Just saying. And the effects can last for years. The researchers collected water samples from both sites and compared them to a nearby river that hadn't been affected by recent fires to determine how wildfire impacts water quality over time. They found that the rivers that had experienced recent wildfires had significantly higher levels of nitrogen, phosphorus, and organic matter. In the Hubbard Brook Experimental Forest, the researchers found that the 2019 wildfire had elevated levels of these pollutants for up to 8 years after the fire. But it gets worse. The study also looked at the impact of precipitation on water quality. In the 2019 site, researchers simulated a rainstorm and found that it washed even more nitrogen and phosphorus into the river. This is because when it rains or snows, especially in a watershed that has recently experienced a wildfire, that's a huge spike in nutrients that can completely change the balance of an ecosystem. The water runs off the land and carries with it all sorts of debris and pollutants that have accumulated due to the fire. In fact, the researchers found that the combination of wildfire and subsequent rainfall led to a 5-fold increase in nitrogen levels and a 4-fold increase in phosphorus levels. And here's the really alarming part. These levels of pollution can persist for up to 8 years after the fire. The researchers say that their findings highlight the need for better management of forests to reduce the risk of high-intensity wildfires.